I know this looks like something from Forza Horizon, but this is actually my first assignment at this year's Goodwood Festival of Speed. I'm at this pub. I'm here to see the Driven group and their Evoluto 355 and the Boreham Motor Works Ford Escort. And before I go inside, just look at this car park. Lamborghini, Koenigsegg, Ferrari, Lamborghini. Absolutely insane. All right, okay, so here we are. This is a Resto Continued Ford Escort, that's what they're calling it, although, you know, you and I can call it a Resto Mod if you like. It's just absolutely extraordinary. I mean, look at this thing, look at the stance, look at the way it sits on its wheels and its tyres, look at the arches, look at this. Absolutely stunning. We've got plenty of carbon fibre, everything is billet, and when I say everything, I mean absolutely everything. The door mirrors, the door handles, the fuel cap, even the Escort badge on the boot is made from billet. Seriously high quality hardware here. Carbon fibre in the boot there, fuel tank. Yeah, just absolute monster of a thing, quite frankly. Beautiful leather interior, of course, deeply dish steering wheel, but this was available in period like this from Ford. Lovely gear shifter there, look at the height of that, right next to the steering wheel, just how you want it. The dials are all authentic in that the measurements for them, the design and the layout is all authentic, but of course all new materials, fully leather. Go into the back and we've got on this car in particular, we've got a carbon helmet sort of holder here, helmet storage, get a couple of straps to hold those in place. Roll cage, of course. It smells absolutely beautiful in here. Lots and lots of leather. Four-cylinder engine, of course, because it's an Escort, but, I mean, wait for this. This thing will rev to 10,000 RPM. We heard it running a little bit earlier and it was only going to about 6.8, but yeah, so potential to rev to 10,000 RPM. Look at this, look at, it's just beautiful, isn't it? So I'm getting a little bit pervy with all this, but look at it. So there you are. If you've got a spare 400 grand and you want the ultimate Ford Escort, well, this is it, isn't it? What a stunning piece of kit. Next up from the Driven group is Evoluto, and this a Resto Mod Ferrari F355. Now, Evoluto starts with an original 355, then strips it down, reinforces the chassis with carbon, widens the track front and rear, then fits a whole new set of custom carbon fibre body panels. The whole car also gets a whole new interior, but thankfully the beautiful Ferrari H-gate shifter remains intact. And there's the option for an upgraded engine too, upping capacity to 3.7 litres and adding an extra 60 horsepower, taking the total to 473. The result is a car with a much improved stance, a high quality interior and better performance, but which retains much of the 355's inherent beauty, along with its compact dimensions and analogue nature, from the old school key to that manual gearbox. And in case you're wondering, Evoluto's lawyers say it can use Ferrari badges, but only on the parts it hasn't changed. That's why there's a prancing horse on the unmodified front grille, but not on the new rear end. As you'd expect, all this doesn't come cheap. You're looking at a starting price of £700,000 plus the donor car and optional extras. Safe to say, most of the 55 examples Evoluto plans to build will cost more than £1 million. Is this your dream 90s supercar, or should the resto modding craze leave Ferraris alone? Let me know in the comments. So there we go, that's the 355 by Evoluto, just a very quick look at it, and of course the Escort by Boreham Engineering, very cool thing, of course. Right, that's the Driven House. I haven't even got to Goodwood yet, I'm not even going to be there till tomorrow. This is just the preamble, if you like. Going to head over to Porsche in a couple of minutes, see what they've got going, and spend my evening there before going to the Festival of Speed tomorrow, so I'll see you there. Okay, here we go then, day two. It's nice and early, nice and sunny, already quite warm. I'm at Porsche's accommodation at this very grand building here called West Dean College, just outside Goodwood, so we'll be heading over to the festival shortly. But before we do that, there's some cars here that we can drive. There's the modern press fleet just over there, but there's also, even more excitingly, some cars over here that are from Porsche's museum in Germany. These are literal museum pieces. They've got museum written on them, and we can drive them. Right then,
We're in an old 911. I love these events, they're so relaxed. You can just walk up and say, I want to drive that one. They give you the key, you get in, and you drive to the local pub, and then you turn around and come back. Quick little introduction to this car. It's a 911 from 1967, so it's a really early car. It's a pretty little thing, isn't it? So yeah, 130 horsepower, thereabouts, 0 to 60, what we're looking at here, 9 seconds. And away we go. Didn't stall. Revved it a bit though, but right, here we go. Obviously left-hand drive, but given it's so narrow, I don't think that'll be a problem. Maybe it's because it's an old car and I haven't got a seatbelt and the windows are open and it's probably quite valuable. Well, that's been an eventful drive. I missed the turning, got a bit lost, tried to turn around to the junction on quite a steep hill, stalled, then couldn't restart while on the hill and quite exposed to traffic coming up behind. Yeah, quite bad actually. Someone offered to help push. I called the very lovely PR, thank you James, who gave me some words of encouragement and said give it lots of revs. And yeah, there's a bit of clutch smell, but I think we're okay. And now I'm about to get back to West Dean College. That's probably enough driving classic cars for today. And I'm going to head into the show, so I'll see you there. Well, here we are, we're on site now at Goodwood Festival of Speed 2026. I'm stood in front of Goodwood House and this incredible sculpture from Singer. It really is a remarkable centrepiece for this year's show. It's really hot, it's really busy, it's really dusty, it's very sunny, but I'm going to have a walk around now and show you some of the highlights of the show. This has been one of my favourite parts of the Goodwood Festival of Speed. It's the Cartier Styly Luxe lawn. The theme this year is, well, we've got all sorts actually. We've got loads of Koenigsegg's, which is very cool to see. I've never really cared much for Koenigsegg's, but actually seeing some of them this week outside the pub yesterday and of course now on the lawn here, I've become a bit of a fan. I think they look sensational. Some of these are super rare. I mean, these are limited to sort of a couple of dozen generally, and then these ones are right-hand drive, so proper rare stuff. The other class on the lawn this year is 50s Barchettas, convertible cars. Got a Mercedes 300 SL, beautiful car. Maserati over there. And the star of the show for me is the Ferrari 250 California Spider. Beautiful. Look at this. Absolutely stunning. I think I've seen this car before actually. This car was being restored, I believe, by a specialist up at Bicester Heritage, Bicester Motion, up in Oxfordshire. I recognise the number plate. The next category we've got here is Mercedes-Benz Superstars. Very strong Pebble Beach vibes here with this collection. Check out the low windscreen. It's like a roadster. Wonderful thing. The last category here is track and field. So we've got some road-going rally cars, sports cars, born to race and rally, the category says. Over at the McLaren stand now, and we've got the 788HS. Quite difficult to say, that one. This is the first new car from McLaren in almost 2 years. It's going to be limited to just 200 examples, 100 coupes and 100 convertibles. And this is the end of an era for McLaren since it's the last car to use the company's V8 non-hybrid platform. What comes next will be a company making hybrids, Grand Tourers, and even an SUV or two. It produces 788 PS, hence the name, or 777 horsepower in old money. Accelerates to 62 miles an hour in 2.7 seconds and has a top speed of 205 miles per hour, all table stakes by today's supercar standards. New for this car are its forged centre-lock wheels, a roof scoop for cooling the engine, at least on the coupe, the convertible misses out on that, and a massive rear wing set above a quartet of exhaust pipes. Prices are expected to start at around £450,000, but since McLaren says that every example will go through McLaren Special Operations, a whole suite of bespoke personalisation will add plenty to that figure.
as well as having the centrepiece that this year's Goodwood Revival Singer has its own stand, and it's bigger than ever. There's a big selection of Porsche 911s reimagined by Singer, because I think that's what the lawyer says we have to call them. These things are absolutely wild, aren't they? Massive arches, massive rear wing. Completely extrovert. So yes, Ferrari stand, we've got the Amalfi Spider. It's their latest entry-level Ferrari. Can you call Ferrari entry-level? Most affordable? I don't know. But anyway, yes, this is the new Amalfi Spider. Next to the Dodge Cilindri Spider, the 12C Spider. Lovely blue colour there, really like that, with a red interior. Got a lovely set of martini liveried Lancias in there. Very nice. Now, I've always quite liked the Paddock over here. There's a bit of everything, a bit of pre-war stuff. Like I said, some more recent, sort of 70s, 80s martini liveried Lancias. Looking lovely. Spin over to the left and we've got a Delahaye there, 1923, next to a 1927 Bugatti Type 35B. These used to be the cars to have, didn't they? Bugatti Type 35s, these were the Ferrari Super GTOs at their time. And then just a few metres away, we've got some WRC legends. We've got 2002 Peugeot 206 and a 1995 Subaru Impreza, ex-Colin McRae, I believe that one is. Yep, Colin McRae car. Very cool. Good timing. So, I thought something was happening when they were putting some ramps up on the Singer stand. They're getting off the stand. Presumably there's going to be a bit of a Singer moment, as Goodwood likes to describe these things as. Of course, these begin life as Porsche 911s, 964 generation 911s, that then have quite literally £1 million or $1 million thrown at them to turn them into this. Another example of how the access here is just incredible. So cars are lining up here to head out to go and take part in the hill climb, and we can just wander around. You just wander around the paddock as the cars are assembling. Lightning McQueen is here. How cool is this? What an amazing photo opportunity for kids. The Piston Cup is there. Lightning McQueen. Yeah, that's it. Might be lovely too. Brilliant. Right, the next stop is the Scuderia Ferrari tent. This is pretty cool. Ferrari is celebrating 75 years this year, so they've got a bigger presence than normal. And we've got a whole suite of F1 cars from recent stuff, also back to the Schumacher and Barrichello era. What I like about this setup is you've got the crew here and you've got the branding here. It feels like you're in the pits at a race. Yeah, pretty cool setup. Forza Horizon fans might recognise this as the most expensive car in the game. Yeah, the most recent Forza Horizon, this car, I think is 70 million credits. So pretty cool to see here. It's a Ferrari 330p4 from 1967. And the last car on this stand is the 499p Modificato. So we all know the 499 has dominated Le Mans, although not least this year, but for the previous 3 years it won. And this is the Modificato. It's basically the client version. You can buy this if you are a particularly good Ferrari customer. You can buy one of these. It's practically impossible to pick a single highlight from this year's festival. From the stunning collection of museum pieces laid on by Porsche, to the 3 GT40s that filled the podium at the 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans, Pixar's Lightning McQueen, which really did drive around the show, and several Ferrari F1 cars racing their way up the hill climb. The Goodwood Festival of Speed reinforced its position as the world's greatest car show. Right, that's almost the end of my day now here at Goodwood. I've had to buy a hat because I left mine in my car. It's a Singer branded hat, so Porsche are probably going to kick me out of the hospitality any minute now. I'm joking, of course.
I hope this has given you a little bit of an insight into the other side of the Festival of Speed. So there's an awful lot of stuff you can do with just a general access ticket, and it really is very good for that. The Cartier lawn and the Paddocks especially are examples of just how close you can get to some amazing machinery. That's just about it then for the Goodwood Festival of Speed 2026. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Porsche for hosting me last night and for today and for getting to drive that classic 911. And thank you to McLaren too, of course, for the hospitality as well. I hope you've enjoyed this. Do click like, click subscribe, and there'll be plenty more videos to come very soon.